What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, Randy with RTS Mobile Gaming. I am playing Sea of Conquest for you today. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my current favorite build for Season 3. We are just starting, just 2 or 3 days into Zone 3 in Season 3. So we're about 2/3 or maybe half of the way through. I've got to experience a lot of the content, a lot of the builds, and I am here to tell you that my current favorite build for Season 3 is going to be discussed in this video, and it's fantastic, okay? This build is all around immensely powerful. It has incredible optimization to allow you to dominate your enemies, okay? But first, we're going to spend 10 seconds and talk about the sponsor for this video, Packsify! Packsify has been around for over 3 years. They have saved players more than $4 million in pack discounts. If you decide that you want to purchase a pack, feel free to go to the link in my description and use the Packsify service. They are the sponsor for this video, and they can save you anywhere from 15 to 35% on your in-game purchases, depending on what your native currency is. Get excited. Packsify, thank you again for sponsoring this video. So, let's get into the build. This is going to be super duper exciting, okay? I will start with the Flagship, okay? And if I need to, I'll do a detailed deep dive on each one of these ships individually if the comments request it, so feel free to post your comment down below. Flagship, my favorite combo for the Flagship so far halfway through the Season 3 is going to be Ahab as the captain, Delilah as the first mate, and Magnus as the gunner. Okay, Delilah is the wild card here. I was messing with her in Season 2 when I had strategic damage as the backup to my burning damage. Now I have strategic damage as the main damage with a different damage type as the backup, okay? Delilah is going to be great because she is going to trigger strategic vulnerability on 5 enemies. She is going to trigger it a few seconds before Griffin on your other strategic ship triggers his ultimate. Okay, she's going to allow your Flagship to drop an Ahab bubble maybe a second or two before the enemies get off their rage ultimates. So you get great efficiency on Ahab's and Magnus's first bubble and aggro generation, and you boost Griffin's damage. We'll talk about Griffin in a minute, okay? Trinkets, I've got on a golden rudder, and I have on 2 eagle shields for the static threat and armor. They are better than golden rudders. As long as you have 1 golden rudder, that's really all you need. Okay, ship parts, we're running 4-piece Yamata, and I did a previous video where I actually looked at this and I was not running 4-piece Yamata because I just didn't have the gear. I have since received multiple drops, exactly what I'm looking for. So 2 critical resistance items here is going to boost the critical resistance on my Flagship all the way up to 123%. It is absolutely fantastic, okay? Into the next ship here. This is the Warhammer, okay? We have been talking about Bones, Cordelia, Wanda on the same ship since Season 2. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm here to tell you, after a lot of testing, that this is the best combo that I love for massive healing and rage generation and overall buffs for the fleet. The Warhammer is going to be using critical resistance on the figurehead, and this is a specialty sale that dropped when you can still get random stats. But since you can't get crit resistance on your Blade of Freedom, you could run really armor or HP on a sale. Armor might be better in a lot of cases since Blade of Freedom does not naturally give an armor buff, therefore your armor will be low. So feel free to run an armor sale on that as well, okay? And we're using an elixir for rage generation and healing. We're using a spyglass for attack, which is going to boost my healing. And we're using Wanda's healing trinket, which is going to be more healing and more healing. Okay? Overall, I'm also using a crafted Warhammer, not the $100 one, so I can get cost of strength in here. Another reason to be using Blade of Freedom on the set, not only is it going to boost your healing, it is going to mean that I'm debuffing the enemy and removing over 2,400 armor from any target that Bones triggers his ultimate on, which is going to be fantastic, okay? Into the Fearless Princess. This is the biggest damage dealer here in Season 3. Without a doubt, there is no bigger damage dealer. Those Cutthroat fans of mine, believe me, I have run the Cutthroat meta. I did a lot of testing with it. I ran an improved version of the Cutthroat meta where I posted that build on YouTube. I've tried all different stuff, okay? I'm not just sitting here speaking out of my butt cheeks. And I'm telling you that in all scenarios, when the stakes are even, the Fearless Princess typically performed significantly better than pure Cutthroat. It also typically performs better than my Stormbringer and my artillery ship, and we'll talk about all these in a second. For the Fearless Princess, as my primary damage dealer, I'm going to be drawing a lot of aggro, so I am using a tanky set on this. Okay, I'm using Sovereign set, I'm using a crit damage sail, and a critical resistance figurehead. All of my ships are running critical resistance somewhere on them, so it's very important that we have that, okay? Critical resistance is the sleeping stat. I've been talking about it for 2 seasons. It is one of the most valuable stats out there. If you are not running more critical chance than I have crit resistance, your damage is basically done, okay? Trinkets. I'm using 3 crit trinkets here. Not everybody has access to 3 crit trinkets. I understand that. If you don't have access to 3 critical trinkets, maybe you only have 1 or 2, you can make the decision to change your Sovereign of the Sea to a crit strike chance instead of crit resistance, but then you really have to double down on the crit resistance gems. I recommend every one of your ships to be at least 50% critical resistance, okay? I'm using these 3 crit trinkets because I have them, but if you don't, Griffin's unique trinket is also great, okay? And so are the attack stats. You should have at least 1 crit trinket in this build, mandatory. Otherwise, you should change up gear and maybe run Blade of Freedom with a crit trinket and just go Glass Cannon, because maybe you don't have the trinkets to support that. For the Stormbringer, this is something unique. I am not running any crit on the Stormbringer. In fact, I am running critical resistance and attack. Okay, I'm using 4-piece Yamata. Okay, I've got the 25 sail, 25 figurehead, 25 cannon, and a level 21 helm. So this is going to give me a total of 55% attack, plus all of the incredible tankiness and crit resistance that I get from using the Yamata set. Okay, therefore I have incredibly nice attack, and I'm using 3 different trinkets that boost percent damage. Okay, so instead of doubling down on crit, I've turned the Stormbringer into a ship that actually doesn't care how much crit you have. It doesn't care at all about your crit. It is simply going to be applying an immense amount of damage to you, and it will also be multiplying the attack by all of this bonus damage. If I take a look at the stats on this, you can see my critical resistance is almost at 92%. This ship is almost invincible. Burning damage is at 116%. So I'm doubling down. Instead of running with crit, I'm running with incredible tankiness with damage to multiply against higher attack. So in reality, would I do a little bit more damage with a crit build? Yes. But not every build needs to be a massive crit build, and when you're fighting people who do watch my videos and they do run high crit resistance, it's not a bad idea to have a decent damage dealer in your fleet that doesn't care about crit resistance, okay? And this ship does not. Lastly, we have the Goddess Setcheat. Okay, the Goddess is absolutely phenomenal. It is actually where I am really trying to boost my damage. So I have a very balanced array of damage. Strategy is the top damage dealer, and the Burning and Artillery ship do very similar damage. Sometimes they pass each other, sometimes they're neck and neck, but they do very competitive damage with each other. And I am running 3 critical trinkets on this. I'm running the same build as I'm running on my Fearless Princess, except I have an attack helm on this one, and I have a damage helm on this one, just because of what I have available to me. Okay? Either one is going to be fine. I do like having higher attack on my strategy ship. That way I can pull more of the rage generation procs, the ones that don't go to my Warhammer or my Stormbringer. But I could also run damage, right? Which is probably going to be slightly better than the attack. However, as I was saying, my 2 ships that are running crit builds are going to be Ophelia Charky Keelanting on the Goddess, and then, of course, the Griffin build on the Fearless Princess, okay? Now, this ship is also a crafted ship. I have found and I have crafted all 3 ships, and I'm not going to go into that right now. That'll be a totally different video with very detailed analysis. But this is my favorite ultimate right now. I'm really enjoying this. So definitely, if you have a ship with this ultimate, it is good. Don't get rid of it. Okay, it is. All 3 of the ultimates are actually pretty good on the Goddess. Okay, and this ship as well is using a critical resistance figurehead and a crit damage sail. And as you saw, I'm using 3 crit trinkets to make sure I do enough crit chance to actually crit on the enemy. Okay. Ophelia's trinket is also just fine, so are attack trinkets. But again, just like the strategy ship, in order to run crit resistance on your figurehead, you have to have crit on your trinkets somewhere. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing any crits, okay? So if you don't run a crit chance figurehead, you have to run at least one crit chance trinket. 2 is even better, and obviously, as you can see, I'm fighting people who watch my videos and are now running with disgusting critical resistance, so now I'm running with 3. All right? But this ship does fantastic damage, and this is my favorite setup here in Season 3, folks. We killed a lot of people today. I killed Baron. Let me see if I can find that report. I don't even know if I saved it anywhere. I killed a lot of people. Guys, we have been taking people out all day. Let's go see what I can find. My bunny is licking my foot right now. I probably should have saved this report. That doesn't look like it. I don't know where it is. This is... Alright, I'll just show you. I was clearing out some 31s, 32s, 33s from a tower. This is using this current build. Here is the balance of the damage. My artillery ship actually died early. And if you look, I still did incredible damage with the burning ship compared to the strategic high crit ship. Okay, the burning ship still did great work. Actually, I don't know why my artillery damage is so low. We'll have to investigate that specific report later. That was a poor example. This is a better one where I'm fighting against harder opponents. And again, here the strategic ship did die. I thought I wasn't actually open this report to start. I apologize. We killed a couple people here at 34, a 37. This is a good report to look at, right? It makes me look better. Only show the good ones. And here you can see that even though the artillery ship did die early, it still pumped out fantastic damage, okay, before it died. And the strategic and blazing ship were neck and neck with these 2 builds. Isn't that so interesting? A non-crit build is still dealing absolutely incredible damage compared to a mega crit damage setup. So both of these are fantastic, and I'll just leave it at that, okay? So, if you guys have liked this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Comment below if you'd like me to deep dive into any of these topics specifically in greater detail. And thank you again to Packsify for sponsoring this video. Randy, out.